Experience Karen Hunter in a completely different way. Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're going to love me in Karen Hunter is Awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of The Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed. So, yesterday I was talking about Dr. Stacey Patton. She's been on the show several times. As a matter of fact, I used to do this show with Esther Armah, and Stacey Patton would be, this is like maybe a decade, maybe it was 15 years, maybe it was longer than that. I don't know, it was a long time ago. And we would do like this kind of morning radio thing, women talking. But I've had her on the show because she has a book, Spare the Rod, where she is an anti-whooping children advocate. And initially I was like, some of these kids need to get their ass whooped. I was in that. Some of y'all need to whoop your kids.
All the kids.
All of them.
Talk to all of them.
Just one good time, so that they remember.
Right.
That they could get it. Because I feel like today the kids don't think that they can get it from anybody.
Right.
But she made such a compelling case about not just the vestiges of enslavement and how Black people are, carrying forward the, enslaved mentality, the overseer mentality, the plantation mentality of how we treat these Black bodies. But then there's a sexual awakening when you particularly paddle a child on their buttocks and all of the nerves and how it's right to the. I mean, she broke that down. I said, oh, okay, we can't be putting our hands on our children.
Oh,
so
okay. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, no. So I'm gonna have her back on because we need to have this conversation, and I may drop it in a podcast as well. But initially I was like combative. Well, I got my ass whooped at least twice that I could, because I remember it, and I was like, I don't want that to happen again. So therefore, I'm going to figure out how to dupe these parents of mine into not doing this anymore. I'm not gonna stop my behavior, but I'm gonna make sure that they don't know that I'm doing the things. But I changed my mind with better information, and I've grown into an understanding of why, and it's uncomfortable because those of us who have, but I bring her up because while she's against putting hands on folk, her verbal skills, so somebody was trying to cover her on, I don't even know what the origin was, but they, I don't know which one do I start with. Okay, here we go. So somebody named Daz Mason said, notice you're all effing Black, racist, horrible people. You should have stayed in Africa. World would have been a better place. This is what this guy tweeted. Stacey Patton, she said, Daz Mason, let's talk about where Europeans should have stayed instead of rampaging across the world like a disease-ridden horde of thieves, rapists, and genocidal maniacs. They should have stayed in their own cold, famine-ridden, plague-infested lands, scratching lice out of their scalps and perfecting the fine art of defecating in their drinking water. They should have stayed in their drafty castles and mud huts, cultivating a rich tradition of inbreeding and witch burnings. They should have kept on impaling enemies on spikes for sport, boiling people alive in cauldrons, torturing peasants with iron maidens, breaking wheels and flaying knives just to hear them scream. They should have fixed their filthy medieval streets where disease-ridden mothers abandoned babies in gutters to be eaten by rats and fathers sold their daughters into child brothels to survive another winter. They should have stayed put, burning midwives as witches, bloodletting themselves to death, and stacking infant corpses like firewood. They should have kept hacking off noses and ears as punishments, crucifying prisoners, hanging children for minor offenses, castrating, fighting over scraps of moldy bread, feasting on rotting meat, crawling with maggots, and using urine to wash their clothes while they painted themselves as the pinnacle of civilization. They should have kept drowning babies in rivers, marrying off 12-year-old girls to syphilic noblemen, maybe bathe more than once a year. The world didn't need European, quote, civilization. They should have stayed rotting in their own filth, killing each other over imaginary divine rights. But no. They just had to spread across the planet like a horde of locusts in powdered wigs, massacring indigenous people, stealing lands, enslaving millions, rewriting history to cast themselves as heroes, and then having the sheer fucking audacity to tell Black people where we should have stayed. The world would have been a better place if Europeans had stayed in Europe and left Africa, the Americans, Asia, and the Pacific Islands uncolonized, unraped, and unpillaged. You unwashed chicken. Breath smelling, generational inbreeding. You are the inbred afterbirth of failed conquerors that should have ended up in a damp European gutter centuries ago. Thoughts and prayers, Roderick.
Points were made.
Mm-hmm. Points were made.
Points were made.
Points were made.
I think our favorite line was unwashed chicken. She said a lot of greatness, but
yeah, the unwashed chicken
really hit me.
That landed with me too. That landed with me too. Wait. So, but after this diatribe, do I call it a diatribe? Is that the word of the day? A diatribe? Because I was it's gonna be another word. But let me see, because I feel like diatribe is a negative word. Let me look this up, because I feel like you used diatribe, but I feel like this was a diatribe. D-I-A-T-R-I-B, because tribe is right there. No, this was a diatribe, a forceful and bitter verbal attack against someone. This was a diatribe.
She diatribed his ass.
She diatribed it. She took the tribe and she killed it. She died it. Diatribe. Okay. So somebody had the audacity to say something back to her.
What?
somebody
After that?
Yes. So some lady decided.
You know what that is? That is the verbal equivalent. If you've ever seen a Bruce Lee movie, and when Bruce Lee gives somebody like the nunchuck treatment, and everybody who's ever watched the action movie goes, okay, now why would the next guy step up by himself? Like he got some, like everyone should be running the other way at this point. And in the movies you go, that's illogical, but it's a movie. This is real life. And somebody was like, I think I could take the chucks.
Yes. Okay. So this lady, of course, her name is Terry Ann.
Okay.
Terry Ann had to come in. Stacey Patton, you sound angry! ! Voters voted for Trump Vance to put an end to the insanity, ... And they are doing what they promised. For perspective, perhaps you should deep dive into the truth of the atrocities committed by Democrats. Now, let me just pause. There's a lot of conversation about with Democrats. Nowhere in this diatribe did Stacey Patton mention a single Democrat.
No, she's nothing about politics, political affiliation. She didn't even say anything about Republicans, if you're being real.
Nothing. The fact that Terry Ann took this diatribe and was like, I voted for Trump. So she's talking about me. The fact that here's the problem. And this is what I want to just tell all of the folk out there who want to ban books. Shout out to Abbott Elementary. What a great episode. All the people that want to ban books, what you're saying is that you are relating to the horrible people. And you don't have to relate to the horrible people, because as you remind us all the time, your folk came through Ellis Island or you didn't enslave anybody. So why do you want people to not know about it unless you are in alignment with the mentality that enslaved and did the Trail of Tears and genocide and all? Why are you in alignment with the villain in the story? Well, you don't have to be. Miss Terry Ann didn't have to come into this. She could have minded her old happy ass Republican Trump voting ass business and not get involved, but she decided to.
She wanted a shot at them chucks. Bruce Lee she said, Bruce Lee ain't that sweet. I done took some Taebo classes.
No, but the fact that you're gonna come with, you sound angry. So let me just say this too, and we want to, it is the angry knock, particularly against Black women. Is because they want us to shut up.
Right.
So you're angry, you're aggressive. It's all. I had a professor. So I was up for tenure when I had to go meet with a different board, and I didn't realize what tenure was. I just thought of it as job security. And then when I was like, oh, you have to be published. I have 8 New York Times bestsellers. I've published. I thought I was a perfect candidate to have tenure in a department that is media driven. And most of my books are memoirs, which is, a form of interview and, extraction and writing at a high level. but they told me it wasn't scholarly work. So I was like, oh, this is a different kind of, so y'all not really trying to teach any kind of depth here. All right.
Mhm.
But I had to meet with several people, and I said to one of the guys, I know that I'm going to be given tenure, I'm going to need to know why. He went back and said I threatened him.
Whoa.
I said, wait, what? That was threatening? And in my mind, I was like, okay,
Right.
wow. All right. Note to self. Okay. They're looking to be
Well, when
victims
you
of,
walked in, did you, I mean, you telling the whole story, like when you walked in, did you like maybe take a gun out the small of your back and lay it on the table? And then you was like, let's have a
no,
conversation, or
no. It
no?
was an interview. I was I gave the
Huh.
platitudes,
Did you
I
do
think I even
did you
did
do
my
the
hair.
Reggie Miller throat cutting motion like he did
No,
to the Knicks when he scored them points all fat?
I was
Huh.
smiling. I laughed. I chuckled through that. It was, because it was one of those, like, this is ridiculous. I know that I'm not gonna, of course you are gonna,
Right.
it was even with the chuckle behind it,
Mm. And he
I,
just still something just set him off. He just I'm feel
yeah,
threatened right
I
now.
felt threatened. I said, wow, okay,
Interesting.
well, so I never
Interesting.
spoke to him again. I was like, you'll never have the opportunity to say I did anything to you,
Did
and
you
y'all
have
can
a
keep your,
t-shirt on and the slogan on the front was like, I will kill your ass? And he was like, oh, this about me. And he thought it was the
yeah,
t-shirt at the
yeah,
interview.
no. I actually had on a
Huh. I don't
blouse.
know. Hmm.
I had on a blouse and a
Hey,
suit jacket, Roderick. I was
oh,
dressed
maybe. I don't know. You know.
like a civilized. I'm just joking, but yeah, no, it's wild. But that was when I realized, I was like, oh, folk will create a narrative around anything that
Yeah.
when you, and I am a plain talking person, so I guess it can be. And but I've had to wrestle with that my whole
Yeah.
kind of life, my whole life. I just had a conversation with my mom about that. I've always been a plain talking person, and people, how they receive that, different ways. But I was like, I've never put my hands on somebody. I'm not that
Yeah.
person, well,
And whiteness doesn't really
unprovoked.
have a and I don't even know the race of this gentleman, but I'm saying whiteness
Yes, he was
not
white.
necessarily because of his race,
White.
but whiteness as in the culture of workplaces in America.
Yeah.
Whiteness doesn't really have a real talk. Black people, we have real talk. Like, like we have our, we do a little code switching and stuff, but we also just have moments of like, where you can just like hit me the game, like, hey, young player, let me tell you something real quick. Hey,
Yes.
you don't
Yes.
want to wear that to work because they be looking at you crazy. I don't care what you wear. I'm not telling you what. I'm just saying that you're not gonna get that promotion, and it's just a real talk
That's right.
section that
That's right.
stays right there in that elevator. We don't talk
That's
about
right.
it outside, and we cool. They don't have that. So if you talk plainly to them, they do feel like something's off. Like, oh, well, you can't just say you want the promotion. You got to act a certain way. You got to use certain words. So I know a lot of times they try to shut us down that way. And like, you're speaking plainly, you're threatening. I feel threatened that you directly called me out on my bullshit and you didn't use the nice words. So
Yeah. Well, so I actually stayed there another 15 years. So I ostensibly got tenure and then retired on the asses with a
just seeing
pension.
him in the hallways
Yeah,
every
nah,
day.
I'm just like, and then I stopped coming. I refused to come to the faculty meetings because I'm like, you're not gonna waste my time and
Right.
and I gotta suffer through this. But nah, and there's no consequence. Maybe I was censured behind my back. I don't know, because what
That's
does
how
a
they
censor
do.
do? Who
That's how they
cares?
do. That's they
Censor
low
me.
key. That's their version of real talk. On the real that low. I don't think we should take Karen to this. We shouldn't invite her to any more meetings. That's their real talk. They don't think them
No, it
boxing
wasn't.
us out.
They invited me. I just refused to come,
Oh,
and
okay.
because I'm like, I'm here. I'm being paid to teach students, so that's what I'm
Right.
gonna focus on. And I think I did a good job.
Can I just add
Hey,
a
y'all.
couple more things? One,
What?
being angry to shut people down using that's also internet troll speak. Because what internet
Mm.
trolls do is they always try to apply some sort of emotion to you that they obviously don't possess. Now, what could sound
Ah.
angrier? What could be angrier than telling a black person who just said, what you're saying is anti-black. You're telling me go back to Africa. White people, this is your history. And then going, you're angry. You're angry. I voted for Trump. You're the one who's angry. Why did you bring up voting for Trump? Because
Right.
I can't think of anything angrier in America than voting for a man who does nothing but berate people and this country. America's not great. Only I can make it great. And the reason it's not great is because of everyone who's not a white person. Matter of fact, everyone who's not a white straight man. Right. So even your ass, Debbie Ann or whatever the fuck her name was. And then why And then
damn, Rod.
It's so funny that she brought up Trump Vance when the topic was anti-blackness and not politics. It wasn't right.
Correct.
It wasn't politics.
Correct.
It wasn't any party. It tells you why she supports Trump Vance, because the electing them was supposed to stop Black people and brown people and women and gay people. It's supposed to stop us from acknowledging the reality of the oppression that we experience. That's what electing, it was supposed to be a mandate. That's why he gets up there and goes, I have a mandate. The mandate is a social mandate, because they damn sure ain't voting for policy. The stuff he passing is not even stuff that he was campaigning on or promising to these folks, right? This is the stuff they said. I don't think he's going to actually do that. He's not going to actually cut all the government jobs. He's not going to actually go against unions. So then what are you voting for? What you actually were voting for was a societal mandate on, that's enough for you Blacks. That's enough of all this white people DEI bullshit. I don't want that. And you can't stop us, because we still have freedom of speech and we still have our bodies and we still can't be told what to do. At the end of the day, you can say don't do some shit, but one of us gonna jump up and get kicked out, because that's what we do. Is you can't control us. We not slaves. We not your little slaves. So I like that Stacey came at her neck like that.
Oh no, wait, I didn't give you Stacey's
at the first guy's neck like that.
Oh yeah.
But it's funny that she picked up on it in a political sense that tells you why they vote for Trump. That's there what that go. Is.
That's the direct line. And anybody that's saying I'm not racist, whether you're Black, Latino, what you are, you're anti-Black. You're anti-Black, you're anti-gay, you're anti. You voted for the anti. That's what you voted for. You didn't vote for, because he told you, Project 2025 told you, we're going to get rid of education, we're going to get rid of the Social Security, we're going to get post office, all that's in the 900-page document that people were saying he's going to do this because this is his mandate to get the funding from all these billionaires. I'm going to raise the taxes on everybody except for the rich. I'm going to lower the tax. It's all there. You didn't vote for anything but what Roderick is saying. So spot on. And the fact that he said, go back to Africa, and she responded, and your response was, we voted to end the insanity. The insanity of what is insane? What's more insane than racism?
It is also like telling me to go back to Africa, not angry. Me being like, but yo,
this is
people,
what you did.
not from here either.
Correct.
All of a sudden, now I'm angry. Get out of my face.
So here's what Stacey Patton said to Miss Terry Ann. She said, I sound angry? ? I sound angry? Well, Massa Uric, that's her last name. Let me recalibrate my tone so that it is more soothing to your delicate ancestral sensibilities. No, ma'am, I's not angry. I's a happy negress. How about I put on a pot of greens, bake you some of that warm cornbread, and pick the lice out of your scalp while humming a Negro spiritual in a key that pleases your fragile ears. And then after that, I can whip out a titty and milk your cheerins for you. Maybe I can fan you with a big old leaf while you sip on some sweet tea on the veranda. I can whisper reassurances that everything's gonna be just fine. The past ain't never happened. The South gonna rise again, and that good old Massa Trump and his Lil Vance apprentice are just here to save civilization from the terror of fairness and basic human decency. Would that help, Mrs.? Would that calm your delicate disposition, or shall I fetch the smelling salts while you clutch your pearls and dramatically collapse onto your fainting couch at the sheer audacity of a free-thinking Black woman speaking truth on her own damn Facebook page? It's Facebook. Or maybe I should just hush up my mouth and let you marinate in the swampy backwash of your own stupidity, where facts don't matter. Hypocrisy is a virtue, and the only thing thicker than your delusion is the layer of unwashed mediocrity coating every inch of your existence.
Dang.
Bless your little inbred heart, missus. You ain't debating me. You're just regurgitating the slop they fed you like a proud, overgrown, obedient albino hog at the county fair, completely unaware that it is on a one-way trip to the butcher. I'm gonna need Stacey Patton to Smiz. I'm gonna need her to come on back to the show.
She found the time.
Oh my goodness, I love us. And here's a problem. Leave us alone. Because what you have a delusion because your heroes look like Snoop and Cardi B.
Right.
You know, the people that make the stallions or titties are out or whatever, but make the stallion got a degree too. I imagine she can put words together. Y'all like to parade out people that make you feel like, you know us, whether it's in sports, whatever, but you don't know the layers. Stacey Patton's not unusual is my point. Like you can mess around and get this work verbally from millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
Black women, black men, the most degree holding, we ain't even going to get into the sororities and fraternities and all of the ways that they have memorized Invictus and damn if and all of the things they had to memorize to even get into the fraternities and sororities and Q's, y'all going to have to answer for that hazing at some point. We're going to have that conversation. Yeah. Not today though. Not today. It's Friday. I want to stay there, but that reminded me that I can't just utter that and not also pay homage to the person that lost his life. But yeah, this is how we fight on all fronts. Those of us who can do what Stacey Patton is doing, do it. There's not a single, she didn't cuss nobody out. She ain't, talk your mama. She ain't,
right.
Fact-based.
Now, me personally, I probably would have cussed them out just to save myself time. It's more expedient sometimes for me to just cuss you out and block you. But I appreciate she found the time because every once in a while I will find the time and and just remind them like, oh no, I'm on this same thing too. And I think that's why it was so widely shared. So many of us are like, exactly. We all think about this all the time. Hush your mouth and mind your business. Nobody was talking to y'all in the first place.
Period. You would come here telling people to go back someplace, and you
go back to Africa. I've never been.
They big
on
that. Wait, hold on.
Like,
the place that has all of the resources that everybody's going to right now to extract that place that you wouldn't survive.
Isn't the real problem y'all kept going back to Africa?
Yeah,
ain't nobody invite you.
Right. Speaking. Oh my!
How about leave Africa alone? If you would have left Africa alone in the first place, you wouldn't have to be dealing with us today.
Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is awesome. A new podcast from Karen Hunter.